What up, world? How y'all doing? And welcome back to the Inside the Hive. I hope you all enjoyed our first episode just a couple days ago. If you haven't, go listen to that one. This one's not going to be into a specific team or anything about sports, but to explain how we got like bee themed and everything. So if anyone knows me, if you see my TikToks for the past 3 years, I've done something called the Stinger, which is a 5-leg parlay throughout the NFL season. Weekly basis, I go through the teams. I pick 5 that I think are going to win. I make a graphic, I make a TikTok video, and we sweat out together. Now, how all this essentially became was I had sports pages that mainly focused. I started with just the Yankees, and then I expanded it to its own thing that covered all, and I was trying to do more. I just didn't have the time. But I still keep the Yankee one and the main one. Then I wanted to rebrand it. I'm like, what's something different? Like something unique. So I thought, I was going through names, suggestions, maybe some animals, and I fell on the bee. Well, bee's got a stinger, sting, sharp to the point. And that's how I kind of came up with Sting and how everything is. And now the Stinger does come from some inspiration. I'm not going to hold any credit to it. The guy that it comes from, Book It with Trent, if you guys haven't checked him out, he's got a 6-leg, a surgical 6. Now again, the more legs you add, the more likely it's not going to hit. So I reduced it down to 5. Sting's got 5 letters, so 5 teams. And usually I only put $5 on it. And again, not gambling advice to anyone. Remember, you gotta be 21 or older if you do gamble. But nothing gamble. That is just me personally. It's morely to have fun. And yeah, I get the comments of, oh, you pick heavy favorites. You do this, do that. Listen, I've tried different things. I even tried taking spreads. It just doesn't work out. So the main thing when it comes to the Stinger is try to pick money lines. Now, of course, when there's teams on a bye and you're limited on how many games you can pick, you gotta, again, we're trying to make money here, yes, but the point is to have fun. And as simple as that can be. So, there are a few rules that I try not to break, or try not to do just because it puts a little more pressure. We do not pick Thursday night games. Just because it's just one game, it shouldn't have too much effect, and there's still another 15 games to play. Of course, as later on in the season, you get your Friday night, Black Friday game, you get the holiday games, like again, we had 2 on Wednesday for Christmas, we have some Saturday games. Mainly we focus on doing Sunday games, and sometimes we will pick the Monday nighter if there's not enough Sunday games that we like and how we spread it out. So yeah, that's how we've gotten to the Stinger. So, and I figured I'd give myself a little explanation so you guys understand how it is. Now, of course, if TikTok does get banned and shut down, I do not know what I will do next year for the 2025 season. Because how I make my videos is through TikTok. So I record the first couple seconds and I find some clips and then I put it all together and then I post it. I don't know how I would do it anywhere else, so it's going to be interesting to see. Unless, again, TikTok gets banned in about 10 days. As I'm recording this, is the 10th. So said the 19th. Again, it could come back by the NFL season. We will see. I don't even know what's going on, but I know if TikTok gets banned, we're in big trouble. Doesn't mean I can't still make the what do you call it? The promo, that I do every week. So nothing stops me from doing that. But that's how we've gotten to the Stinger. It stemmed from going back a couple years and just focusing on a Yankee fan page to having its own name to then trying to expand and do all sports, and I had a point of it was all sports, Yankee sports, and the New York sports. I tried doing the Brooklyn Nets. I tried doing the Carolina Panthers. I just didn't have enough time to. I could literally sit here and I could create everything in hours and just focus on that. And I enjoy it. I just didn't have enough time to post the content. So now I focus on just all sports one and my Yankees one. So it started out as one, and then I rebranded, and sports betting became legal, and I wanted to get more into sports betting and hop on the community and have people join in. So now again, I couldn't tell you how many times I had failed by one leg, but I've had some pretty close calls. Now, of course, I've only done this. This is the second full season I've done it. I did it for part of the first season, like week 13. So I couldn't sit here and tell you everything at all, but I will tell you there is five. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 6 teams I have not picked to be a part of the Stingers, so they still have a debut to be made. If anyone can guess those 6 teams, put them down in the comments or hit me up and we'll see what we can do. But there are 6 teams that have not been a part of a Stinger. Now again, to my knowledge, actually it's 5, because what I'm looking at is not up to date. I have not updated my stats for the 2024 season. Now, of course, we still got the wild card, which is when I'm recording this, coming up this weekend. So whenever you're hearing this, it could have happened, it could have not. Most likely the playoffs have happened, and you've seen the wild card Stinger. So I'm looking at this. It's actually 5, not 6, because I haven't updated it. This is only updated to last season. So as of last season, it was only 6. There's 1 in here that did make their debut this year, and yeah. But as of last year, my most bet on team was the Eagles. The highest winning percentage. Again, there's a lot with just a couple and a lot with a lot. With at least 10 picks goes to the 49ers at 11-2. I've picked them 13 times. Again, this says the 2023. I know I did pick them a couple times this year. I did stop picking them because they were not winning and just not worth it. So, yeah. Now you may ask yourself, how do I sit here and pick teams? Well, let's take an example. Let's go back to week 18. Let me load it up for you so I know exactly what I'm doing. We're doing this right on the spot, right here, right now. So we're going to take week 18, for example. So there was 2 games Saturday. I completely didn't choose either one. Baltimore was a heavy favorite, and I wasn't even going to try to mess with the line. Again, I try to put the lines in my favor, not the book's favor. So I try to do numbers of 3 and 7, roughly. And then Cincinnati, Pittsburgh, could have gone either way. It could have. So I avoided Saturday. So that left us with 14 games to go with on Sunday. Now we end up going with Washington Commanders, Green Bay Packers, Tampa Bay Bucks, LA Chargers, and the Detroit Lions. So we went 4-1 on that. But how do I sit here and break it down? So the one thing I will start with is I do not bet on my own team. So I don't it's Carolina Panthers. So the first thing is, if I know, again, they've been underdogs for weeks. The only time they were favored was against the Cowboys, and they still lost. So if they are underdogs, I try to avoid betting on my Carolina Panthers. Now, of course, if I feel like they're going to win, I will take a chance and put them in. So, but for this week, I was unsure. Atlanta needed the win to kind of stay in, but Tampa Bay won, and they went overtime. So I avoid Carolina. I chose Washington because they had seeding to play for, and they were playing a Dallas team that didn't have anything to play for. Chicago, Green Bay. I figured Green Bay was going to win. Chicago had nothing to play for. Again, they were on a losing streak. Green Bay was fighting for seeding as well, and I figured they beat an in-division rival. Houston, Tennessee. This game just had ugly written all over it. Houston was already locked in the 4. Tennessee has nothing to play for except for the first seed. So I could have gone Texans because the Titans were playing for that first seed, but I didn't. Jacksonville, Colts. Again, another ugly game. Both teams have nothing to play for. And wasn't worth it. Buffalo, New England. Now, New England was fighting for the first seed. They had it. They lost. They locked it up. But Buffalo wasn't really playing anyone. So even though Buffalo was favored, I avoided putting them in the stinger. There was a thought, but I avoided. New York, Philly. Again, neither one had anything to play for, but still Philly ended up in top. Pick Tampa Bay because they were trying to win their division. So simple as that. Chiefs, Denver. Again, I would have chose Chiefs because why not? Let's have some fun. But I avoided that game because literally no one was starting for the Chiefs. Chargers, Raiders. The Chargers were playing for something. Since the Steelers had lost already, if they won, they were in the seeding. Seattle Rams, neither of them. Like, Rams were locked in. Either way, they were 3 or 4. They didn't care. They had a home playoff game, and they just lost. Now, New York, Miami, again, Miami needed to I think win to stay in, and who knew what New York team you're going to get, so kind of avoid that. Niners, Arizona, neither team had anything to play for. Just kind of avoid it. And then you had Minnesota, Detroit, which I went Detroit because it was the number 1 seed in the line. Why not have the last one? So, but yeah, there's thought process. Again, every week changes. And as the season goes along, you know, it becomes more obvious on who to pick and how to pick things. Beginning of the season, you don't know what you're going to get. I know week 1. Oh, let's go back. Can we go back to week 1? I can probably tell you what I picked from week 1 here. I know I picked Minnesota. I'll tell you that. I did pick the Bengals, which coincidentally had a whole effect for the rest of the year. Yeah, I couldn't tell you exactly what week 1 was. I know I did go Minnesota. But there's a process that goes in every week. Like week 1, you know who's going to be bad, you know who's going to be mediocre, and you know who's going to be good. So it's just a simple process of going through it week in, week out, and determining. Again, I do look at the lines. Does it affect anything? Sometimes. But usually if, like, I know, like, the Bucks were, like, heavy favorites for week 18, but they needed to win. And it was a close game. So, in hindsight, it worked out. You know, again, you're picking pre-game, so you don't know what the outcome of the game is going to be. So, yeah. I look forward to doing it again next year for the 2025 NFL season. Whether TikTok is around or not, I don't know if I will be making videos weekly for the Stinger in 2025, but I will be making a graphic. We'll see where, you know, when football season starts in September again, where we're at. And, yeah. I know, like, you got Instagram and Facebook Reels, but I would have to figure out how to get an audio and then insert, like, make my own video. And I'm not too skilled on that just quite yet. And the way TikTok did it, I could have it done in about 10 minutes, just doing it through TikTok. So we'll see what happens. I'm hearing different reports on TikTok. If they just remove it from the App Store and TikTok stays around, that's cool beans. If TikTok completely shuts down, like can't even access it, SOL. And I'll figure something out. But the graphic will still be made. I say I just updated the graphic for this year, made it more a little clean looking and more like a bumblebee. So, but yeah, the Sting, the Stinger, and all of that has essentially come from a rebrand of an idea I had a while ago. I actually still have. I made simple merch. It said Yankee Insider. So, excuse me. So that's how it all started. Now it's Yankee Sting, Sting Sports. So, yeah. But, I've always wanted to explain how we got to the Stinger and how the process goes down. Again, do what you want. I know parlays just pay sports books. But hey, when you win, you win. This year was the most successful. The past, between 2022 and 2023, I had 2 winning Stingers in 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. 7 weeks plus another 18. I went 2-23. This year alone, again, we still have the wild card round. Actually, it's even worse than if we had the wild card round. 2-25 in the first 2. This year, as we sit, we are 4-14. Now, you may say that's bad. In sports betting, all it takes is a couple wins and you're profitable. To my knowledge, we did end profitable. Mostly, I'll be honest, I'll be very clear. Most of the wins were about $25-$30. I think I had one at 45. That was a good week. There was a couple chances to go back to back, but we missed out by 1 game. So we still have the wild card, which again, now this is the only time I do 6 when it comes to this, because it's the only game. So have not won a playoff Stinger, which of course having 6 legs increases the payout. So if we do win the playoff Stinger, it will definitely put us in clear water of positive for the year. But even hitting 4, was crazy. I could tell you how many times last year I felt confident in putting out. I feel confident every week putting it out. And of course, sometimes there's those iffy games that it comes down to. But sometimes you got to roll the dice and just go with it. Now, again, sometimes you get the underdogs in there, but mainly it is favorites. Again, favorites don't always win, so you can't sit here and blame me for taking favorites. I do analytics. I do keep track of my stats. And clearly, I think the top 3 are the Chiefs, the Eagles, and the Niners. What have they done the past 3 seasons? Win football games. Because clearly in the past 3, you go 2022, Chiefs, Eagles, Super Bowl. Last year, Chiefs, Niners. The 3 teams that have gone to the Super Bowl in the past 2 years, of course, they're going to be in the Stinger. Heavy. And of course, they're favorites. Sometimes they're heavy favorites. Sometimes they're just favorites. So, a lot to consider. Let's see. I can break it down. The Bills, I've picked 10 times. The Lions, I've picked 9. Now, this is as of 2023. It has gone up since. Chiefs at 14. Miami at 10. Again, Miami was average this year. Eagles at 16. Niners at 13. So, you can see the teams that we have heavily relied on. What have they done? Completely just win, go far in the playoffs. Reliable teams. Now, of course, we have our mixing teams. Like the Cowboys. They're 4-3. They're okay. Pick them here, pick them there. I don't think I picked the Cowboys all year. When I tell you, it's hard to... Again, we do have repeat teams throughout the year. It's nearly... You can't not do it. But... Again, there's teams that have been picked once. The Falcons are on a ban list right now. I picked them once last year, they lost. I picked them again this year, they lost. So they're on a ban. Packers don't seem to win. Clearly. Yet I still picked them. Uh, So yeah. I do have a tie actually. It was the Commanders. I give it a tie only because I think it ended up tying. And with a tie, it's voided. So, to be honest, I think that game that I picked that they were in there and they tied. I think I had something else where they would win minus, and I'm like, oh, it's gonna get voided out. No, since I picked the minus, it doesn't get voided out because they should have won by that. But if I did plus, I would have won because they tied. So, but yeah, that's pretty much it. That's how we've gotten the B theme, Stinger, Sting, Hive, and that's where we stand at this point. Again, if you guys have any questions, I'm more than happily to answer them and give you any more explanation and help you guys be better at sports betting. Remember, gamble responsibly. If you have a problem, please speak to someone. Remember, you gotta be 21 or older to gamble. This is not promoting sports betting. I'm 25. I have every right to do it. I have changed my knowledge over the past year of sports betting. I went to just about betting daily to picking and choosing my bets. I have mainly stopped betting the NBA. No, that's the big thing. We call it, me and my good friends, we call it the National Blowout Association. When you bet on the NBA, you better be sure. And even then, you can't be sure. And we call it the Blowout Association because when you pick player props and you seem like you're on a roll, you hit that one game and they win by 40. None of the people you need have hit their points, rebounds, assists yet, and it's the fourth quarter. And guess where they're at? On the bench. So I've avoided betting basketball. I bet hockey here and there. I have my set lines. Hockey is a little bit more easier because you can pick the winners and they're pretty simple. But I have a set line. My favorite line is 4.5, which hits about a 90% rate. So I'm happy about that. MLB, I do bet. MLB and NFL, I bet heavily. NFL definitely more than baseball because there's a point where it's only baseball, and at this point, I might as well. I rather enjoy watching the game than sit here and go through bets. Like, yeah, sometimes, you get, certain promotions they try, so I'll hop into the promotions. But during the summer, and if it ain't the All-Star game, I don't really bet that much. So it is what it is. So I've learned very well. I was profitable last year after a very negative 2023. So remember, it's the mindset. So you try to do all this and that, and people get hot. I got hot last year. I got hot at the Super Bowl. I took a 2-week break responsibly. I signed myself out of my books. I will admit it. Again, 2 weeks of literally nothing, so it didn't affect my life. Because it's just basketball and hockey at the time. I didn't really care too much. I'd rather pocket my money. I got hot in the March Madness tournament and the beginning of baseball. I was riding a hot streak, and I was up. Now, of course, I came down with baseball coming back and betting home runs and teams. Once football came back, there was a divot down, but we climbed ourselves back up. Some good first touchdown scorers. I said 4 stingers had hit. A bunch of other bets had hit. So we rolled in high, and we finished on a good note. And that's all to it. So remember, guys, if you like this content, like, subscribe, turn on notifications so you never miss a new Inside the Hive podcast. Again, currently on Spotify and YouTube. That is it. If you want to listen to Apple Music, I am sorry. Your better bet is just to go to YouTube. It is all free. So Hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll catch y'all on the next one.